Good afternoon, my friends. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon. Um, I just wanted to share a quick video today about how I completely lost it today, as I always do, when something happens to Schmickles, my dog. And what happened today was Anthony came over to help me on something, and he has the cute little beagle dog called Archie. And I just love that dog. And the funny thing about it is, before I got Schmickles, I was trying to find a beagle at the Humane Society to see if there any beagles would show up. And there were no beagles, but little Schmickles popped up in the photo. And I thought, well, he's not a beagle, but that's my dog. I just knew I had to have him as soon as I saw his picture. Okay, getting back to today. Archie is a cute little beagle. And Anthony brought Archie over, and Schmickles and Archie are good friends, and they play together. And but Archie is a little mischievous. He he tends to run off and roam, and he doesn't really know his boundaries. And Schmickles has been pretty well. Um, it's not like I've trained him, but he knows his boundaries. He knows the boundaries of the ranch, and he knows to stay in his yard, which is not just a yard. I mean, this is it. This is his whole yard here. It's like an acre around the house. He's got plenty of roaming room, and he never goes out of this yard, even if he sees uh, a critter or a deer or a coyote or something. He'll bark, he'll get excited, and he'll go running around and bark and look at them and look like he's about ready to go out, but he stays. He stays within um, the gate. He knows that he could get out very easily, because he's seen his friends, that the neighbors' dogs come over and they come in and out, and he knows how, he sees them, how they go in and out, and he knows that if he wanted to make an escape, he could do it very easily. So Anthony and I were just chatting about just, uh, repair work and that kind of thing. I told him, I'm just so happy that Richard at least put a roof on our cabin, but there's other things that need restoration work. And we were just chatting, and then all of a sudden, I get this feeling like, oh, where's the dogs? And Archie, he's just a little beagle, and Schmickles, as you can see, he's eating his little bone over there. Schmickles is like a 75-pound dog, or about 70 pounds, and bigger and stronger. And Archie is just this little beagle, probably doesn't weigh more than 25 pounds. But guess who the leader is? Yeah, you got it, Archie. And so I'm sitting there with Anthony, and I think, where's the dogs? And I guess it was just too much of a temptation when Schmickles saw Archie go out the gate, and he was over on the other side, and I didn't get a chance to take Schmickles for his daily walk. So something went in his little dog head. Hey, I'm going to go with Archie. And so they went off, but I didn't know where they went. All I know is that we were sitting there talking, and next thing you know, the dogs are gone. And as soon as Schmickles goes out of this gate, there goes the alarm bell inside of me. I've had, Richard and I have had so many dogs in the past, and I swear I never panicked about them, ever. I always thought, okay, they're doing their thing, they're roaming around, and they'll be back. I never got like a fear attack kind of thing. I did a little bit with Twinkie, um, because he would follow his brother Snappers, and I always thought, Snappers is a little like Archie. Uh, Snappers used to lead Twinkie out in places where they should not have been, which is a reason why I panic about Schmickles, because my precious dog, Richard and I had the two Labradors, and they were brothers, and they were such precious dogs, beautiful dogs. Um, we loved them both so very much. And, but there was a time, like, kind of right before Twinkie died, and unfortunately, I think it led to his death. It was a contributing factor, let's put it that way. He started to follow Snappers out in the, out of the boundaries of the ranch. And I was looking, they were down by the lake swimming one minute, and then next thing you know, they were gone. I didn't see them, and I started to panic. And I started to call them, and next thing you know, Snappers comes running up, but no Twinkie. And Twinkie was a bigger dog than Snappers. Snappers was about the size of Schmickles, and he could get in and out of things pretty easily because he was a smaller dog, smaller Labrador. But Twinkie was a long, big dog, a 90-pound dog. He's what is known as the American version of a Labrador, and Schmickles was the British kind of short, stouty, shorter legs. And so Snappers, he could easily get in and out of, barbed wire gates and that kind of thing. And but Twinkie would have more problems because he was such a big dog, and he followed Snappers somewhere that they shouldn't have been. And Snappers comes running up, and no Twinkie. And I thought, where's Twinkie? And I start to panic. And next thing you know, Twinkie does come up, and then I go, oh, good. Oh, here's Twinkie. And then I look, and half his side is sliced like a knife that went right through his side. I mean, it was like a clean cut. I thought, I don't even know how a barbed wire, if he got caught in a barbed wire, how that could do that to him. It made me to this day wonder if some rancher that didn't like the dogs chasing cattle, who knows. I to this day, I don't know. Richard says it was probably the barbed wire he was trying to get through and it cut him. But it was like a knife that went through the side of him, and it went all the way through his skin to the point where you could actually see the inside where his heart was beating. And and he was standing there like nothing happened to him. So I immediately rushed him to the vet, and he got it cleaned out and stitched up. But that was the beginning of the end of Twinkie. He just was never the same after that. And he died like about 9 months later. And I believe, that is the reason why I go into panic zone if Schmickles disappears beyond the boundaries of the ranch. And so he, just like Twinkie followed Snappers. Snappers was the leader with Twinkie. Twinkie was the bigger dog, but Twinkie always had to follow Snappers. And in the same way, Schmickles just had to follow the little beagle where he shouldn't have been. And so he came, he was gone. And then Anthony said, we'll find him, don't worry. They just went sniffing around, roaming around, and they'll be back. And Anthony went down towards the lake, and I see that he comes up with a leash on Archie, but no sign of Schmickles. Okay, that's it. That's what triggered me. Now I'm in full panic, right? I'm like, ah, ah. And Richard always knew when I went into that panic. I mean, I start screaming out Schmickel's name like a maniac. Everybody on the ranch goes, uh-oh, there goes Jackie, she's looking for Schmickels, and she's in panic zone. And because like when I can't find him, everybody hears me. I said, Schmickels, Schmickels. I mean, I just keep shouting as loud as I can, and I'm going nuts, right? And that's what I went into again. I went, and Anthony was trying to calm me down. He says, well, he's going to come back. Don't worry. It will be okay. We'll find him. He'll come back. He's around here somewhere. But I couldn't see him anywhere, and I kept calling him for a long time, and I was scared. Because of that, history of what happened to Twinkie. So I get in my Prius and take off like a bat from hell. Whenever I'm scared about Schmickels, I smash through the large puddles, and the mud comes flying up over my car, and I'm like, where is he? And I went over to Gary's, see if he was sniffing around over at the next door neighbors at Gary's, which is right over there. And because, Gary has the dog Tank that comes over to play with Schmickels once in a while. And I thought maybe he went over to visit Tank, and no sign of him anywhere. So that's when I just stop in my car. I start turning around to go back to our place, and I just prayed as hard as I could. I said, Richard, please help me find Schmickels, please. You know how I panic, I can't find him. And as soon as I said that prayer, I swear to you, like 2 minutes later, boom, there's Schmickels. He pops up, and muddy with cow shit all over him. But the moral of the story is, I keep repeating in my videos that Richard hears me, that we're connected, and I don't abuse that communication with him. I don't sit there and say, okay, Richard, do this for me, or do that for me, or prove this for me, or prove that, blink the lights for me, Richard. I don't do any of that stuff. I know that he's there. I don't need proof. But today I didn't know what else to do, because Richard always used to help me. When I lost Schmickels, he'd always stay very calm and collected, unlike me, where I get, that's the only thing I really panic about. Most things I stay pretty calm and collected about. I may get upset about something, or I may, get depressed, or I might, be worried about something, but I don't go into panic. The only thing that brings me into that state of fear and panic is when Schmickels disappears and I go nuts. And Richard always knew that. And the times that he disappeared, Richard would always stay very calm and collected, and then he'd get on his little motorbike and go over to the other side, and next thing you know, I'd see him coming back with Schmickels. Richard to the rescue, right? And so I just thought, if anyone can help me, it's going to be Richard. And I just prayed, and I said, Richard, you got to help me. You got to help me find Schmickels. You know how I get scared. I'm just scared. I don't know, what if he ran off, where, he's not supposed to be and gets into trouble. And as soon as I said that prayer, I'm telling you, like 1 minute later, I pull in to my driveway and up by our house, and there's Schmickels. So I had to just stop and, say, oh, God, thank you, Richard. Thank you for helping me. Thank you for helping me. I know you heard my prayer, and I know you must have said something to Schmickels. You must have said something. You must have sent some telepathic thoughts. Schmickels, you get your ass back to the house now. Because I told you in my other videos, It's not like you can hear their voice, but they can send telepathic thoughts, including to animals, especially to animals, because dogs can pick up these signals much better than humans. They just have a sixth sense in that regard. So I just wanted to tell you that story, that they hear us, they're with us, and just have faith in that. Okay, have a good one, you guys. Bye-bye.